Have you ever felt stressed? Of course you have. One of the antidotes to stress is the practice of non-reaction. So I'm Tonyah Dee. I'm a registered dietitian, and I believe we live in a body, we have a soul, and we are a spirit, and it's important to feed all three parts. So this month's theme for feeding body, soul, and spirit is non-reactivity. What brings on stress? Often what brings on stress is change. And we have a lot of change going on. Constant life, the only thing that's predictable in life is change, right? So we know that. So almost all spiritual teachers, almost all of them preach a concept of being non-reactive. Like that's the end goal. How do we go through all of these changes in our life and not react? So non-reactivity, I'm going to give you some tips for body, soul, and spirit on how you can holistically approach not reacting to things that otherwise, if you do react, it can either cause you stress or somebody else stress. So one of the things about non-reactivity, you can imagine like when we react or overreact, we're using a lot of energy. We're wasting our energy on that reaction when we could be saving that energy that we just spent reacting, really developing more vitality in our own lives and an ability to be focused and pursue what we need to in our lives, our purpose, our calling, our friends, our family, relationships. So being reactive can really set you back, and then sometimes you're having to apologize and go backwards and, look at your actions. So the whole practice of non-reactivity is so important that I really wanted to share my tips for how can we just be still on some level and not react to all of the many, many changes that are going on and all of the fearful thoughts and all of the interesting kind of crazy things that are happening in the world right now. So let's talk about the body. One of the ways we can really learn to non-react is when you feel that reaction, and there is like just a moment when you can identify that you're having a reaction before you act or before you talk. So increasing awareness about reactivity is really important. So if you're aware that, oh gosh, I'm having a reaction, like that person just said something, or this thing just happened in my life, and here comes this reaction. One of the things we can do is just hold the body still, like this, just hold it still. If you're by yourself, sit down, lay down, get calm, get still, get focused. And if you're with somebody, just go inside with your breath, start taking deep breaths, calm yourself down. And in this stillness, while you're holding your body still and you're having this reaction, just notice the sensations of the reaction. Does your stomach get tight? Does your throat get tight? Does your temperature go up? Or what is happening inside your body during this reaction? And what you'll notice is these reactions to the outside world that our body, our soul has, it kind of comes like a wave and then it'll go. So if we can kind of bear out the reaction, it's not even that long sometimes, 5 seconds, 1 minute, 5 minutes, a half an hour. Okay, I'm just going to be still. I'm going to watch the reaction. I'm going to notice that I'm having a reaction. So tip number 1 is with the body, when you start to have a reaction, be aware of that reaction and know, like, I'm not going to react to this situation right now. I'm going to hold my body still. So in the soul, our soul includes our mind, our emotions, and our will, our desires and hungers. So our soul's always talking to us, right? Like, you know that, right? There's always this voice, you're always thinking, you're always feeling, you're always wanting things. Well, one of the things I recommend is really start to become aware of the tone your soul uses to talk to you individually. Does your mind talk to you in a kind, gentle, supportive way? Or does your mind judge you, criticize you, put you down, perhaps even yell at you? Just start noticing, are your emotions, do they speak really loudly to you? Like, I'm angry, I'm sad. How loud and what tone are your emotions? And in your will, how loud and strong is your will? It's saying, I want this right now. And it will drive you towards that thing right away. So it's very, very loud. So you notice, even if we're around somebody, if they have kind of a harsh, loud tone, it's very easy to react. It's very easy to have a reaction to that. So it's really important that you start just being aware of the tone that your own soul is speaking to you. And if you can, start to, talk back to your soul in a kind way. Like, if it judges you harshly, use a tone like, no, I'm okay. I'm fine right now. This is the way I am. Or if you make a mistake and your voice says, yeah, you stupid, or you idiot, or whatever, just come back to it and say, everyone's imperfect. Everyone makes mistakes. I'll make up for my mistake. I'll make amends. I'll say I'm sorry, whatever it takes. So you do kind of have to have this inner dialogue for a while until the tone changes. And after a while, the tone does change. And that real critical, harsh voice starts to calm down and it becomes kinder. So it's a little bit of work, but if you put the work into really befriending and being nice to your soul and having compassion that it's hurting or it's seeking something, and so it's really loud, and you listen to it. So just listen to it. Again, have that awareness and then try to just change the tone. So that's the recommendation for soul. Let's go into the soul and what recommendations I can give you for the mind. So imagine our thoughts are always happening, right? Thought. A lot of times, though, we have a reaction to something and we act right away. Well, it is a good idea to think first, especially think first before speaking, because our words are so powerful. It can change a reaction that somebody else is going to have, and it can also set into motion what's going to happen in our own lives if we speak out a reaction. I'm going to get a divorce, or I'm going to go, slug this guy in the face. So we really want to make sure, like, we're holding the body still, we're having a reaction going on, and almost think like being like an owl in a tree is perched and it's looking this way and it's looking this way. It's observing everything. It knows exactly what's going on, but it's not acting out and it's not saying anything. So for our mind, just really know the connection between thought and action. And the little in between there is often our words. So be careful about the words that you choose, especially right now. Everyone is so sensitive. So we want to use a nice tone with other people as well, and be sensitive to people, because these are hard times. So in emotions, if an emotion of yours gets overly triggered, what it means, that word triggered means, is some situation in your current life has triggered a past emotion. All emotions are stored in our soul from the time we're born. Something has triggered a past emotion, so up comes that emotion with the current emotion, and it's very, very big. So you have a big emotional reaction. When that happens, again, you're going to have to do a little bit of inner work. It's really helpful if we can go in and dig out that older emotion and work with that emotion, try to love that, allow it, accept it, hear it, listen to it. What about that situation made you feel abandoned, rejected, shamed, guilty? And what about this situation is making you feel the same thing, so it's causing a big reaction? You might even ask yourself, why am I having such a big emotional reaction to this situation? Well, it could be because you've been triggered into a past emotion. So watch out for the triggering of emotions. It happens to everybody, and it's a really nice skill to go back and release that past emotion so that you no longer have big, overwhelming emotions that end up hitting you in your life, so that you can not react. Our will is the driver to our actions. It says, I want this, and we're already walking. I don't want that, and we're rejecting or pushing away. So with the will, what we want to do is understand that our will drives us to places of pleasure and places of safety and security. So our soul wants to protect us, but sometimes our will is driving us into places that are so safe and for no good reason. But sometimes it is, so you do have to listen to your will. But again, being aware, and even with a nice tone, you can say to your will, your own will, like, I understand you're trying to keep me safe here. So you don't want me to, pursue this career or this calling because it might be risky. I might get hurt. Someone might reject me. I don't want to pursue this relationship because I might get hurt again. And so we have to watch our will, that it's not driving us into a smaller life where there is no reaction. Right? That's what your will wants. It wants peace and safety for you. But if you can learn to not have a reaction to your will, like you can just say, like, I can see that you're keeping me safe and I'll be fine. I'm going to go ahead and walk forward in this direction because I will be safe. I am safe. And I know how to keep myself safe. And one of the ways we keep ourselves safe is to not create a lot of commotion in our world or with the people around us. So do have a space in your home that is safe, that is nurturing, that is comfortable, that is pleasurable, so that in those times where your soul is driving you into to being more safe or more secure or more nurturing, you actually have it right in your home. And you can spend some time there and calm your soul down. It's gonna be okay, you know, everything's okay. I can take care of this. This situation is something important to me. I can go ahead and after you've spent some time in that safe space at home, you can walk forward in those other areas where maybe it's going to expand your life and bring you more love and bring you more friends or bring you whatever your dreams are. So allow your will to drive you all to the places of safety, but also to the places that do hold some risk. But you know you're going to have this art of non-reactivity down. So when you're out in these new areas, you're going to be able to take care of yourself and other people. In the spirit, one of the ways, so the whole idea behind meditation and seeking a higher power is to be able to be sustained by the spirit as our soul is having a reaction. So what I mean by that, like, spirit is found in our heart. So it says Christ's light, his spirit is in our heart. And God is in our heart. So, and God is a witness. He's a sustainer. And one of the tips about this is when we're being aware that our soul is having a reaction, being sustained by this higher power, living right here in your heart and just dwelling in what this stability can bring you. We learn that in meditation. So in meditation, you have a thought comes up, you might have a reaction, and you just observe it. And sometimes you have to have compassion for it, or sometimes you just have to say, no, not right now. Like when I'm in meditation, sometimes like, oh, you know, I'm done. I'd like a cup of coffee now. And I just have to tell my soul, like, no, you're just not done yet. You haven't found that real place of inner stability and peace yet in your day. So the spirit can sustain non-reaction. It can teach us how to have non-reaction. We can go back and we have trust in the spirit, in our heart, that we're going to get through this situation. I don't need to have a big reaction to it. I don't need to have a big reaction to this person. I trust that all is well, and this situation is going to unfold the way that it should without me overreacting. Things unfold much, much better, I have found, when we don't have a big reaction to them. And we have trust, and when we begin to just rely on this thing right now, how can I manage this thing? Well, non-reaction is probably one of the best, I'm going to say it again, antidotes for stress. So stress is often a perception that something is not right, and we're going to react to that. So the non-reaction, being able to accept things kind of the way they are and not react to them right away, that brings in the ability to be that old owl, like the wise old owl. I'm just going to sit here and I'm going to take it in. I'm going to observe it. I'm going to observe the reaction that I'm having, but I'm not going to talk out my words. I'm not going to shoot them out. I'm going to be like holding love space for my emotions so they don't get triggered outward. I'm going to keep my will from causing me to drive towards something that's going to be very stressful in the long run for myself or someone else. So again, it's a practice. All of these things that I teach are practices for well-being. And non-reaction, by far, the ability to not react to everything that's happening around us or even inside of us is really such a beneficial skill. So I hope this month that you have a calm and less stressful month, and I hope that this was helpful. I'm Tonyah Dee, registered dietitian. Thanks so much for being part of my community.